Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory unto the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash, and double honor to my teachers, the head apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule and teach well, who I learned this truth from. And peace and salutations to the elect that scattered across the four corners of the planet Earth, pushing His truth in sincerity and meekness without wavering, as well as risking their life for freedom to do so. This is your brother Ishiar from the GMS Cleveland Church, and I'm back with another lesson. And Lord willing, it is edifying to one of the Lord's elect. All right, this is your brother Ishiar from the GMS Cleveland Church. Once again, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying one of the Lord's elect, and this is an article from the People's Voice. All right, and this is pretty much a sick, twisted article. All right, and we're going to line this up with prophecy, because this prophecy fits a nation of people. Okay, everything on the planet Earth, okay, is mentioned in the Holy Scriptures. It gives a distinct description of certain nations and their attributes and characteristics, okay? And in this article, we just gonna read it, man. This is a sick, twisted article, man. It says Italian police expose sniper safaris where elites hunt and kill humans for fun, man. Right? And you got plenty of movies out there, okay, that that pretty much reflect things like this happening in society, man. Like, people don't believe shit like this actually goes on, but it does. Okay. These elites, it's called gaming, okay, or game, meaning they go out there and they just hunt, like you say, and hunt and kill humans for fun. Now they're moving on to humans because, and who's the elites, man? Who are these people that's doing these sniper safaris, man? It's the Edomites, so-called white race, okay? They have moved on from animals, okay? Now they're moving on to people, man, all right? Hey, this is why so-called animals are extinct, because the so-called white man, his game, okay, is his sniper safaris, man, all right? And then what do they do with the organs of these people, man? What do you think? Okay. Do they let them just go to waste? No, man. All right. So let's read this article. And it says, Italian prosecutors have opened a criminal investigation into claims that VIPs from Western countries pay vast sums of money to attend sniper safaris during the Bosnian War in the 90s, man. Right, it says from Western countries. What's the Western countries? You got Europe, okay. You also have United States of America, okay. These Western countries, okay, so-called Western countries, represent the ancient Roman Empire, man. Okay, and if you know about the ancient Roman Empire, it was a godless and vile empire, man. And now it's back in the form of America, NATO, and the EU, and also Canada, right? And it's even worse than before, okay? Because everything's been exposed about this empire, man. How it was vile, low, decrepit, okay? Putting on the act as if, okay, they're actually a righteous country, a righteous empire. Meanwhile, they're the complete opposite, man. Okay. It says These excursions allow elite attendees to travel to Sarajevo and, with the complicity of Bosnian Serb forces, shoot at unarmed civilians, including men, women, and children, for sport. All right, for sport, man. Okay, so the so-called white man, he does this for fun. Okay, he does it for fun. He gets off on doing these things. This fulfills his his lust pretty much. Okay. It says the complaint filed by journalist Ezio Gavazzini paints a picture of depravity where human lives were reduced to targets in a grotesque game of power and pleasure. Okay. Now they got a little clip for you, X.com, formerly known as Twitter. It says Italian prosecutors have launched an investigation into allegations that wealthy people from Western countries paid upward of 90,000 for sniper safaris where they would shoot civilians, right? And majority of the times, who are the civilians, man? It's Jake, okay? All our people are scattered across the four corners of the planet Earth. Esau is taking the time. Hey, Esau knows that. Okay, now was there some casualties that were Edomites? Yeah, man, of course. Okay, but majority of the time, these are jakes that's getting murdered in the streets, man. Okay, hey, the scriptures say they considered our life a pastime, right? Let's grab that. Yeah, hold on. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 15 and verse 12. It says, "But they counted our life a pastime, and our time here for a market." Wait, I'm gonna read that again. "But they counted our life a pastime, and our time here a market for gain. For say they, we must be getting every way, though it be by evil means." Right? The point is what? They counted our life a pastime. Okay? Now when you go into the word pastime, I don't know why it didn't let me. I typed the exact word in and it didn't pop up. But the word pastime in the etymology, it says amusement, diversion, that which serves to make the time pass agreeably. Okay. It says recreation, diversion, amusement, sport. Okay, and this is what the so-called white man thinks of, you know, um, low, um, poor, useless. In the eyes of them so-called useless human beings, they consider it a pastime. Okay, they kill you jakes for fun. Okay, it says Gavazzini, who delved into the story after viewing a 2022 documentary, described the participants as devoid of any ideological drive. There were Germans, French, English, people from all Western countries who paid large sums of money to be taken there to shoot civilians, he stated. He further emphasized their motivations. There were no political or religious motivations. They were rich people who went there for fun and personal satisfaction. We are talking about people who love guns, who perhaps go to shooting ranges or on the safari in Africa. Now, what nation of people does that? Okay, it's not the so-called black man, so-called Asian, so-called Latino, so-called Native American, so-called Japanese. It's not the so-called African. Okay, it's no other nation of people besides so-called white race, man. All right, the bloody man. Okay, like as the scriptures say. It says for a New York Post on Twitter. It says rich sniper tourists allegedly paid $90K to shoot civilians, including kids, during human safari trips to Sarajevo. It says shockingly, sources allege an additional fee was charged for targeting children. So they charge you more, okay, if you took the life of a young child, okay? This is sick, twisted, and demented, man, all right? The mind of an Edomite, the so-called white race, is completely distorted, okay? It's vile, it's disgusting, man. Okay, and yes, the Lord created this man to be this way, and for you Israelites, think he's going to do a complete 180. He's going to have a change of heart. You are fooled. You're going to be fooled when all hell breaks loose, man. Okay, because we warned you, you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, the Seminole Native American Indians, that when the Lord gives this man the green light, he gives him the okay, to use his weapon. He's going to use it proudly, man. Okay, especially on you Israelites, man. And the Lord is going to be okay with it. Okay, because why? You have not repented. Okay, you have become worse and worse and worse, man. You have fallen so far from nobility. Okay, you are the degenerate vine. And what do you do with a degenerate vine? You clip it. Okay, and guess what? You have to clip it in order for the whole vine to not be tainted, man. All right. It says a real world hell of snipers and siege warfare into a paid hunting ground for the elite. It says these allegations evoke the HBO series Westworld, where the ultra-wealthy escape to a simulated Wild West park to indulge in unchecked violence, grape, and murder against lifelike android hosts. Right, and I remember the Elder Thumyaga. Okay, he mentioned this show years ago. They ended up removing this show from HBO. Now you have to pay for it on these streaming platforms. Why? Because it was revealing a lot of information. He was saying how the people had the MOTB, okay, and plenty of other things that's mentioned in the scriptures, man. Okay, and I'm gonna check this show out, okay, because this is the mind of an Edomite, man. Okay, this is how far he goes to fulfill his lust. Okay. It says in the show, guests justify their actions because the victims aren't real. Yet the narrative exposes how such detachment fosters a moral void, transforming humans into monsters. Right. Okay, and if you read it's a PDF file out there going into the 10 steps of GENOCIDE. Okay, check that out. Okay, one of the steps is to, demonize, okay, a nationality of people, okay? And then once you demonize them, persecution comes upon them. I'm not, this is what I read from the article. I'm not sure if, I'm pretty sure it's not in order, but it's 10 steps. These are some of the steps. They demonize, they persecute you, okay? And then pretty much they roll on you, man, okay? They see you as, less than, a human being, man. They don't look at you as a human, man. Okay, so what do? They roll on you, man. Okay, this is exactly what they just said. In the show, guests justify their actions because the victims aren't real. Yet the narrative exposes how such detachment fosters a moral void, transforming humans into monsters, right? And then one of the last steps, I believe, is denial. Okay, they deny it, man. Okay, look what happened to the so-called Native Americans, man. They demonized them. They persecuted them. They took out majority of the Gadites, the so-called Native Americans, and then to this day they deny it, man. All right, this is what they're gonna do to you Latinos and Negroes, man. All right, you're gonna suffer the same thing that Gad went through, man. Okay, it says here the parallel is even more horrifying. If true, these sniper tours treated actual Bosnian civilians as disposable playthings, much like Westworld's guests abused their robotic prey. Except there were no reboots or resets, just irreversible death in a war-torn city. Claims of this sort, too sick to comprehend, linger when it comes to wealthy and powerful elites, often portrayed as a modern death cult obsessed with transcendence through destruction. From Epstein's Island exploits, I shouldn't have said that, to rumors of underground fight clubs and exotic hunts, history suggests that when money and influence insulate one from consequences, humanity erodes. Let's read that again. From E's Island exploits to rumors of underground fight clubs and exotic hunts, history suggests that when money and influence insulate one from consequences, humanity erodes. Right. The more money you have, you're above the law, man. Okay, Esau truly believes. Well, Esau is above the law, though above the law of man, but above the law of Yahweh Bashmi Shai. No, he has a recompense that's coming for him, man. Okay, let's grab that real quick. All right. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35, in verse 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Yasher Allah, right, by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end, right, when our iniquity had an end, what did Esau, Edom, do? He continued forth with the murder of the children of Israel, man. It says, therefore, as I live, said the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So, you're going to get what you're asking for, Esau. Okay, since you're in love with blood, blood is going to pursue you. Okay, blood is going to pursue you. Okay, and that's going to happen real soon, man. All right, real soon. Okay, the Lord's going to give you what you're asking for. And, it's going to be wars between Edomites, okay, and the United States of America, okay. And also other heathen nations are going to join in and war at you Edomites too. And also don't forget the Israelites that's here. The 2/3 of our people, they're going to have their fun with you too, okay. Is Esau, okay, just going to be wiped out here in the United States of America? No, he's going to put up a fight, okay. These people are going to see the so-called white man in his pure form, man. All right. It says a spokesperson for the Bosnian consulate in Milan echoed the urgency. We are impatient to discover the truth about such a cruel matter in order to close a chapter in history. I am in possession of certain information I will be sharing with the investigators. If substantiated, this could reveal that such barbarism isn't an anomaly, but a commonplace thrill in elite circles where life is cheap and power is absolute, man, right? Life is cheap and power is absolute, and that's how the so-called white man looks at society, okay, and its human beings. But this is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 24. It says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Now, this is the story of Rebecca and Isaac when Rebecca was having children. Okay, this is gonna give a description of two nationality of people that Isaac had. Okay, it says, Verse 25, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they call his name Esau, right? Red, right? When the so-called white man was born, uh, he had no pigment. He had a lack of pigment, okay? And due to that lack of pigment, your blood becomes translucent, okay? Through you're able to see it in their skin. That's why you got something called rednecks, okay? Which a lot of them rednecks, they could possibly be Jakes, okay? But nevertheless, okay, when a white person, so-called white person, is in the sun for an ample amount of time, what happens? They start getting red, okay? And that's how Esau came out, red all over like a hairy garment. And Esau in the Hebrew is Aishah, which means a wasted away is he. Aishah, right? It says, verse 26, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 old when she bare them, right? So when it's noticed that it didn't give a description of how Jacob came out. Okay, meaning what? He was already melanated. He was a normal looking human being. But when Esau came out, uh, they they were distraught. Okay, they never seen anything like that. Okay. So verse 27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. Right. So this is Esau Edom. Okay. He was a cunning hunter. All right. A man of the field. Right. This article describes to you and identifies who the so-called white man is today. His biblical nationality is named Edom. Okay. And Esau Edom is the one who rules the entire planet Earth. And this side looks at humanity. Okay. He's indirectly having sniper safaris right now. He's taking your food, your water, your clothing, your air. Okay. He still keeps it on to this day. He's a cunning hunter. Okay. You're about to see his cunningness, his craftiness in the times to come, man. The Lord's going to let this man let out all his blood. He's about to fulfill his bloodthirstiness, man, real soon. And if you Israelites aren't on the good side of Yahweh Bashmi Shah, you're gonna get caught on the bad end of prophecy, man. So I'm gonna close out. Lord willing, this was edifying to one of the Lord's elect. I'm gonna give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak, and double honor to my teachers, the head apostles, and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect. Kwam Yashar Shalom, Wa Abba Babal.